King Alcohol has many forms by which he catches man. He is a beast of many horns, and ever thus has been.
For there's rum,
And gin, and beer,
and wine,
and brandy of logwood hue,
and hawk,
and port,
and flip, combined
to make a man look blue.
He says be merry,
For his good sherry,
And Tom and Jerry.
champagne and
better
penny.
get started.
Shut up.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
one of these
Excellent.
a fiend
Well,
Pigs.
where am I? What am I doing?
in my house.
Okay.
That's it. Doing the old home show.
Woo! Sorry, I'm still getting ramped up, so usually I'm much more zany by now, I guess that would be the words. The
Zany?
word.
I don't know about
I don't know.
zany.
Annoying.
Annoying.
There you go. It works.
So it's gonna get worse. That's what
Yes.
That's what you're saying. Good.
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. I'm sober going into this one. I only had one beer going into the show, so yeah.
Stepped up some bourbon.
Well, that wouldn't have mattered. It still would have taken a few more minutes.
Couple.
You know.
All right. Well, we got a guest tonight.
We always have a guest.
Well, no, we have special guests.
Oh, there you
We
go.
always
Okay.
have guests. We have a special guest tonight. Well, that's not fun.
And it's not Chris Baird.
It's not Chris Baird for the first time in quite a while. It's beautiful Holly, Miss Holly Hock. Problems
So
whatsoever.
Miss Holly. Okay. All right.
So I've known Holly for a while. She was on another show, and we it's got to be at least 10 years. But then I went to some shows and stuff for quite a bit. So your stage, I guess, is on is burlesque, and
Yeah.
But you do a host of other things. That's kind of what I want to jam on because we like to have local artists on. And you kind of run the gamut. I mean, you do lots of things, but to do with art. And I didn't know you actually created some art as well, so I was kind of interested to hear about that. So, but burlesque is probably your first love, maybe.
Yeah, actually, I've kind of flip-flopped back and forth because I started as a mixed media artist, and then I discovered burlesque, and burlesque kind of just exploded and took over, and I didn't really have the time to create art anymore. So it kind of took a back seat, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then art became the forefront again.
You gotta do something.
I've kind of just been like, I'm a very creative person, so I constantly need to find some sort of creative outlet.
Yeah.
And it kind of has, changed with the times. So, but now I'm kind of doing everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I know when COVID hit, we definitely hit us hard doing the show. Just kind of, for what we were doing anyway, it was like,
Yeah.
it's a little damper.
I mean,
on
I
that.
was still
and I was moved too.
Granted, I was still drinking at home, but then now I just didn't have anybody else to drink with.
We had to do whatever we could to stay sane.
But I started writing a lot more, which I not gave up, but just kind of, got away from it for a long time, and it was nice to get back into that. Good friend Jessica Shafer is actually kind of the one who kind of to get me back into that, and I just can't stop now, which is good. So it gives me something to do, and I'm not sitting around watching TV or anything because COVID was rough for a few months. Like, what do I do?
Very rough, but I mean, I think the silver lining in all of it is that a lot of us finally had the time to get back to things that we neglected.
And I think a lot of people who maybe weren't even looking for some, or even found things to do and are finding ways to work.
Yeah.
At doing things instead, that's why I say there's still a lot of openings out there because people are finding other avenues to make money. And
it really made you think about how you spend your time and what you wanted to do going back to quote unquote normal life.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. It was pretty amazing. And now it's funny because now I don't even want to go out. It's like I don't want to go to a bar.
Yeah, well, that combines with you getting a little bit older too.
Yeah,
It was kind of it for some people, it was kind of an early start into, I don't want to go out and do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
But it really
I don't want to
does
go out
make
and
you,
get blackout drunk at a party, I don't want to go to a bar and listen to loud, noisy people and shitty music, and we still like to go to the breweries just for
But it's
relaxing.
funny because I'm a person who liked to go out a lot and I'm an extrovert, and now I'm like, you know what? Maybe something more chill. I think it kind of toned everybody down.
Yeah. A little bit, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Realize, you don't really have to go out and do all that crap.
It just is exhausting now.
Yeah.
It is exhausting.
Yeah.
I would rather just have some drinks with a friend than go to a wild, crazy party now.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Even it's live concerts finally back. I'm like, I don't want to go to a concert. I can listen to music right here. And listen to 2001. I can switch the
Okay,
tune.
I do miss concerts. I will admit that. I probably won't when I go back, but...
Yeah, I thought...
we tried to go to one, and then, of course, it got rained out, but we're both also at that... We were at that point post-pandemic and not really caring about that. We could have gone, but I'm a bit old to be sitting in the lawn in the rain under an umbrella
who
listening
wants to
to
do
Violent
that?
Femmes, you know, and
No.
Yeah.
I mean they're great and
If it-
all.
you know,
It'd
if
be
it was-
it would have been great to see them before they die, but you
not on a wet
know,
lawn.
no,
Yeah.
and I don't want to pay $70 to go sit underneath the thing.
Right.
Extra
Plus, like,
$70.
$15 per beer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Well, I was worried about the beer, but it was just like I'm a bit old to sit in the mud.
If it was like Cannibal Corpse or something, and who cares? Just
Yeah.
throw mud around. But Violent Femmes.
I am just completely too old for anything Cannibal Corpse or that hardcore now.
No, yeah, that's not me at all anyway. So no, that wouldn't happen.
It did back in the day, but not anymore.
Yeah. Nope. But yeah, I don't know. I know I'm going to get to a concert, but
Which one? I mean, it's hard
I don't
to.
know.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know. I keep saying when I go to one, and then I find other ways to miss it.
Well, any of the ones you want to go to, if it's like the class, the old rockers who are still trying to get out, it's $4,000 freaking dollars too.
Yeah,
I mean,
is the
Springsteen
hard part.
tickets are going for $4,000.
That's insane.
Did I like Springsteen? Not really, but it would be neat to see him before he dies. All these guys that are eventually not going to tour anymore, so they say.
But then it's always like, we're done.
Yeah.
And we're back next year.
Yeah, until they're
Yeah.
dead, they're not. They're going to
Yep.
keep touring because they don't know how to stay out of the spotlight.
Well, I wanted to see.
But $4,000 fucking dollars?
Yeah, that's insane. I
Come
wanted
on.
to see Nine Inch Nails and Ministry,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would have been
and
nice.
of course that was not coming here or
Really
nearby.
interesting. I figured that would have.
But that's one of those bands that you're like, yeah, you're done.
Yep. Yeah. The final tour
you in 6
again.
months.
Yeah, right. No, they got to make money too.
Rolling Stones been on a final tour for 20 years.
I went to the original Rolling Stones final tour in Arizona
Back in the
in
80s?
2000 and which would have been 98.
This is a long.
I mean
tour.
that was their original last tour because I worked for a radio station at the time. It was like 97, 98. So I got to go for free at ASU Stadium. But that was supposed to be their final fucking tour.
Well, apparently not.
And back then, you're like, oh, a bunch of old guys up there.
Right? Yeah, and tickets were like $250 then, and I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Now,
And then,
now they're like $1,000 probably for to watch them
Yeah.
roll around in wheelchairs and walkers.
But I'd go see the music, but Mick can't sing anymore. It's like I'd rather hear the music live than I don't want to hear him sing, and I don't want to see him.
You just
dance
have
around
a
at 8 years
tape, just have a tape of his audio playing, and
He's just sitting up there in a chair.
he didn't even need to be there apparently. Just
old. But some people are still good, though. I mean, I don't know. I was
go to,
surprised.
go to a laser rock show at the planetarium.
Now that
that'd be
I
better.
think I would rather do. Right? I do those in the house.
It's quiet. It's awesome.
I know, now you can just buy all of that for your living room.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on which edibles you've had.
Well,
How good the laser show is.
Just eating another edible. Man. It just gets better.
I'm gonna see pretty lights.
I don't know. It just seems like it's more laid back to. I don't know. Going out
I
was
think
always
it's-
like it was
it's-
always like every weekend came out was like, okay, what are we doing? It was like
yeah.
you're getting ready. You got home from work on
I-
Friday, and
yeah.
okay, getting ready. I'll call you in a bit. It was just like you just did it. You just
Yeah.
got
But I
ready and
think
went out
it's
somewhere.
but I think it's chilled out the older generation, and it like I said, I think it moved the timeline forward of when you've kind of calmed down.
yeah.
But the younger generation
you
is
grow
just
up
like,
finally?
fuck this, I need to get out of the house. Some of them, but then there's the other half that are just got into doing nothing but playing games and still haven't left the house.
I'm just right in the middle because I convinced myself that I want to go do something, and then I'm like, why did I do this?
Yeah,
Going home.
which is odd for an extrovert. I do that all the time, and I'm an introvert, so I'm like,
But
do I really have the energy
2
to?
years at home changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. Actually, it really does.
As an artist, did anything come out of that? Just that atmosphere that was maybe different for you for creating art?
In the beginning, like when things were very uncertain, we didn't know how long this is going to go on and how bad it was going to get. I think that my art was a little bit darker. I think it was coming from a darker place.
Yeah.
But then art kind of became like a way to cope with it, and it wasn't quite as dark, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were less skulls.
No, there's always a lot of skulls.
And what do you prefer doing? I mean, what's your creative outlet?
What is your medium?
Oh, that is always such a hard thing to explain.
Because it just depends what day it is. And
Yeah, I mean, the easiest label to put on it is mixed media, but I'm really inspired by like vintage pieces, antique pieces. things that feel like they have a story. And I do a lot of taxidermy pieces that I turn into characters as well.
Right.
So.
See, that was kind of the thing that when I got a hold of you, it was we're kind of trying to, COVID over and trying to get back into things. With, let's kind of start to do things back and, talk about prohibition again like we used to do. And we kind of got away from, we just went into promoting breweries and distilleries and kind of got away from what we were doing to begin with. And so we want to get back into that. And there's a few speakeasies around town or speakeasy-ish places, and I think talking about that old art and some of that like Art Deco and just kind of putting things together. And I seen you had posted something. And I was like, I didn't even know. I had no idea you did the gallery. So that was kind of cool. And I was looking at some of the art. I was like, man, that's like perfect. So that's why I wanted to get hold of, because just kind of blend those two. We're hoping to get you at a speakeasy, and just timing and you going right back to you're going to be doing shows now, which is great.
Yeah.
So it just wouldn't work out at the time anyway to keep up. We can always still do it. Hopefully,
Well,
works out
you
to
can
get
invite me to a speakeasy anytime.
Yeah, I just thought that'd be fun to talk about. And usually some of them have some cool artwork up as well. And I thought that'd be really cool. So.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully,
we'll get it.
I'm hoping they've stayed true, and it's not.
I think so. There's one I was
commercial, speakeasy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We're supposed to go to. I got to get hold of Wise Guys, and we had. I know about went to Fees, which isn't really a speakeasy, but it gets called up as a speakeasy all the time. When you look it up, that's one of the first ones that pops up. And it's kind of funny. She kind of laughed at that too, but that's what got me in touch with them, and so we were doing a show there. But it's more of a it's just a cocktail lounge, and
sure.
And there are some other places. It's funny. I kind of saying they're speakeasies, and they have nothing. It's a cocktail lounge, and so they're
and that's fine. I mean,
with using speakeasy.
It's a bit hard to do speakeasies now because the point of a speakeasy or a blind pig was hidden.
Yeah.
It was first rule of speakeasies was don't tell everybody where the speakeasy is.
Which is not a great business model.
No, but it was to hide from the cops.
Definitely.
It was on the underground, or at least the cops were paid off at the time because most of them didn't feel like actually enforcing any of those laws because they were drinking too.
Right.
So nowadays, because it's you have to declare all of it, you can't really have a speakeasy, I guess, per se.
And I think it seems like a lot of them are usually tied to a bigger place. That's
sure. Yeah, I mean,
I've gone back and tell them.
Yeah, I've seen, and it's also about where you can have them because Seattle had one. I didn't get a chance to go to it while I was out there for a visit many years ago, but it was literally it looked like a house. So if you drove past it, there was no sign. There were no signs for it, and it was very small.
Yeah.
And I'm sure drinks were expensive, but they were proper craft cocktails. It was proper, the feeling of the little club with a little a singer or someone performing or doing something, off in the corner. But I read up on a lot of it, but it looked like a house. And the problem is you can't get usually a liquor license.
Right.
Zoning laws
forbid
it. So unless you're actually going to build what looks like a house bar in a proper zoning area for actual drinking, you have to think ahead to do all that stuff. So that becomes you have to look at those with a grain of salt.
One that I think was probably the closest thing to a legit speakeasy. And after being in it, I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sure this is owned by the mob, and I don't know that I'm going to see tomorrow.
Well, that one we went to in Wisconsin was pretty, nice, and but not really a speakeasy per se, but creepy and weird, and very shady in some ways.
Yeah, this place was definitely not advertised, and the people I was with had to do like a secret knock and like say who they were through an intercom and this whole thing, and I was like, oh, all right,
nice. Well,
this is
it's probably
different. And they didn't charge for any of the drinks, and I was like, this is not legal. None of this is legal.
Why are the walls covered in foil and I can't get a GPS signal here?
Well,
so no one knows where I'm at.
We weren't allowed to use our cell phones in this place, and I was like,
text somebody before you go in. I'm here.
I'm just having a cocktail, and I'm ready to go.
If you don't hear from me in a couple hours,
I'm dead.
I'm still here.
I tell you where, but I can't. So.
Exactly.
Look at my GPS. Just drop a pin. This is where I'm at.
I don't know if that would work.
What?
That wouldn't work.
Yeah, it would.
No.
What?
Your
phone? Somebody could track your phone, your last GPS. I know where you're at all times.
They have something. They have something that redirects you to somewhere else. They covered all this.
No, that's the NSA. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? Yeah, see, he spent too long in COVID, and now he's got conspiracy theories.
I mean, I'm here for it.
Reading all that dark web stuff.
What are you looking at? What are we drinking?
We're
Let's
gonna
get a
try
beer. Let's get a beer in us, and we'll talk
yeah,
more about
let's try
Holly's
it.
art and things.
Well, this is kind of arty.
Is it arty?
It's a beautiful can.
It really is kind of cool.
Thank you very much.
It's a Galaxia Tropical Lager, and it is from
That's-
OEC Brewing.
That sounds like I'm not gonna like this
Oh, why not?
because it says tropical.
Did you taste it?
No, not yet.
Oh.
I have to know.
It's very
I have to
lightly
know what it is.
tropical.
I have to know what it is first before.
Yeah,
I
so it's
taste.
got some New Zealand hops and
Okay.
Australian Galaxy hops. So
Okay. What's the
It's
tropical part? Is there pineapple in
that's
it?
got to be
I
the.
feel like it's pineapple.
Is there a pineapple in it?
No, well, it's not a pineapple in it, but it's probably coming from the Galaxia hop. I would imagine from Australia. Other than that, it's got more stuff, but being colorblind, it's hard for me to read this.
Give me the damn can. Jeez, you are awful at this.
I saw the hops. That's about all I can read.
Yeah, I know. You're.
But it's,
After the boil, it rests in a copper cool ship for 1 hour and is transferred over our Bodalo cooler. Galaxia undergoes a cool fermentation using a German lager yeast. It is cellared for several months and finally dry hopped prior to release. So they overhopped it. It's hoppy. It's not too bad though. It's actually not too bad. It's not bitter. It's not bitter at all. There is no pineapple that I can see.
I don't know.
It's all
It feels
just the
like
hops.
pineapple to me.
I
but
definitely give a.
It's
pineapple
it's
or-
the hops they used. Yeah. It
Well,
gives it a
it's
little.
delicious.
Yes, it's actually very good. Actually, letting it warm up a little bit gives it a little more depth.
Yeah, I think it's really good. Definitely refreshing. That's for sure. Yeah, I've never heard of this OEC, and now I got 2 cans sitting here, so interested. Tavour must have
There's a dry hop
thought something of
lager.
it. So
or a denim eccentricity
concoctions.
coctorus.
Did you just
what it says.
perform like a magical spell?
No, that's what the OEC stands for. Ordinum eccentrici coctorus. So I'm guessing ordinary, eccentric, and then coctorus.
Whatever that means.
So I'm assuming this is like a small batch place, and we'll look it up one of these days
Yeah.
before we get on the show instead of after.
No, you've been saying that for 5 years now, and you never do it.
That
So
doesn't make it fun.
well, because we just
They're
grab
supposed
we
to come on
grab
the
what's
show.
out of the fridge when we're ready to go. So
Well, it's a tropical night.
It's an
so.
adventure.
Yeah,
yeah.
we're supposed to. He always gets mad because I don't do pre-work, but it's like that's why you're supposed to do that on the show.
Well, yeah,
You
but I mean,
no.
eventually, if you want to get bigger, you've got to actually have kind of a structure to
Well, that's
things.
when we get people to do that for us.
We got to do some of it ourselves, or we're not going to be able to get people.
It'll be people. So I think it's really good.
They're out of
Yeah.
they're out of Connecticut.
Connecticut.
That's what it says. OEC Brewing, Oxford, Connecticut.
Odd. Could have
Why?
swore it said New York on something.
Yeah, well, again, you can't read. You blame colorblind, but you can't read, so it doesn't really matter.
Maybe I thought CT was NY. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
because
close.
yeah, it literally says Oxford CT on
Does
it.
it really?
So, I'm not. Yeah, it's
All right, I'm
so
gonna,
close
I'm
to
gonna,
New York.
I know I saw New York somewhere.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Maybe
That was another
maybe it was
can.
New
you were-
Zealand hop. Maybe
Yeah,
probably
that was
there.
the new and you just added another word to
Yeah,
it
maybe.
because that's what you like to do. God damn,
Who knows?
you are awful at this.
All right, wherever you're from, you got some good beer.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Actually, they have quite a few. They got a sour. They got a Flanders Red. They got a double barrel. They got a couple double barrel wheat beers. Actually, they have a lot of wheat beer. A few wild ales, farmhouse ales. They got gozes. So they're kind of up in our. They're on our, palate range as
Yeah.
far as the ales and the. Got a lot of wild ales.
You brought some champagne with you, but you like beer, don't you?
Yeah.
You drink some PBR. I know that. And
Uh,
when you have
Not
to,
anymore.
Wouldn't you have to? Sure.
After living in Michigan for a decade, like you can't drink PBR, like
Really? Why not?
because Michigan is such a big craft beer.
Well, yeah,
state.
but PBR is still allowed. It's like that's your
It's-
palate cleanser.
But it's harder to. It's not like it is It is harder to find. You don't see PBR. around.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Old
Labatt,
style?
Michigan.
Oh,
Labatt
Labatt's.
and-
Okay.
Used
right.
to be Stroh's, but now it's Labatt.
Labatt made my absolute favorite beer, which was so strange. They had a bourbon barrel beer for a while, and
Really?
it was delicious. And it didn't taste like any other bourbon barrel beer I'd ever had, and they discontinued it.
Of course,
Oh.
because they always do that because they suck.
I never even saw it. Son of a. Huh.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Every time I think I see the bottle, I realize that I think it's like they have like a wheat one or something that looks almost identical, and it's not.
Oh,
the
really?
Same. Yeah,
Huh. Interesting.
very disappointing.
now
I
I'm
want
gonna
them
be-
to bring it back.
Wonder why they just that stinks. I'm gonna be looking over for that one now.
If you find it, let me know.
Oh, I will.
It's still in the barrel.
It's still in the barrel.
Yeah.
Just get the
Yeah,
whole barrel.
yeah.
Grab the barrel.
That I will
I'm still
do.
trying to figure out what the hell coctorius means.
Concoctions.
No, I don't think so. It's the plural of coctor.
Which is
I don't know. That's all it said. It's the plural of coctor, a cook. So they're cook. That it's ordinary eccentric cooks.
that seems
That's what it says?
anticlimactic.
I know,
Yeah.
right? But no, it says
We'll keep searching for something better. Do you have styles of brewery like? I mean, you like lagers and like the Labatt, and
Yeah,
or
I
is it just
tend to just like the lighter
Yeah.
beers. I'm
Yep.
not like a big stout person, but I like a little bit of everything. I can appreciate
a
the
good beer when
flavors
it's good?
of everything. Yeah.
Yep.
that's the point. Yeah, I locked myself. I gave up locking myself into a style anymore. I mean, there are preferences, but
Yeah.
the preferences also change with the day. Is it
Yeah.
hot out? Yeah. Is it, have I had a lot of something, a lot to eat or
Right.
whatever? Do I really want to drink a whole bunch of sours or anything? Or is,
Yeah.
How
it's,
long are you going to be drinking?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it just and I would just made me appreciate stuff.
that's
more
not
than
usually a
just-
question.
Well,
It's true.
for me it is.
No, it is.
Because I can appreciate stuff that I typically wouldn't drink, but it's like, okay,
Right.
I get it. That is really good.
Yeah.
It's not something I'm going to go grab, but
Right.
and sometimes it's weird because you hate saying that sometimes in front of brewers, like they're going to, but they don't. I don't think most of them, especially if it's not your style, unless you go, oh, I love this kind of beer. Yours I don't like. That would be
Right,
different.
right. That would just be like
Which
a
I've done
silver,
that
but-
several times.
So I try. I always say,
God, I love
this is my
stouts.
favorite
Yours is
style.
awful, but I love stouts.
It seems like they usually like your feedback.
Yeah, they do, and they
If you
always say be
deliver
honest.
it right,
If-
obviously.
yeah,
Yeah, if you're not a
Try
jerk
and be
about it.
right. And when they're not on the show, like local stuff, I try not. We're not here to badmouth anybody, but we try and give it sometimes. So we try and be.
But no, like I said, even warmed up, mine's been sitting here for a while. And it's actually got a good depth of flavor. Got a little bit of...
Yeah, it definitely
Good
comes
a
summer
little
season.
different mouthfeel, too.
Yeah.
It's not a standard IPA or anything. It's a it's a lager.
Yeah, it's not
But
hitting
it's
your
got
face
it's got
with-
IPA hoppiness to the lager.
right.
Because it's dry hop.
You see tropical something, you'd think it's gonna be a little sticky sweet, but it's not.
That's what I
It's-
was expecting.
It's good.
Pineapple.
Yeah, definitely good for a summer boat ride.
Yeah, actually I could go with that one.
Should have done it on a boat.
Yep. All right,
Well,
Tavour,
if he'd get a
send me
freaking
some
boat
more.
already.
I mean, I have an inflatable kayak.
It's not a boat.
Here it is.
I don't trust that. Nope, it's inflatable. I don't trust that at all. Don't trust that. I don't trust that 5 feet down a river. Unless it's a big giant inner tube, and I'm tubing down Salt River or something. Fine, maybe. But yeah, not a kayak. I'll take a regular big plastic kayak when I know it's
A plastic kayak.
Well, because the standard use of buoyancy, it's not dependent on the fact that the
air can be let
air
out.
can be let out or that it could pop. It will still float.
Honestly,
You can't really pop a proper kayak.
It did pretty well until the last time, which was probably like the 10th time I used it.
Right, and that would have been the
now
time
I'm
I
like,
used
That's
it.
pretty good.
Yep.
Well, that would have been the time I use it.
10
Yeah.
trips on a kind of an inflatable kayak. That's not
Yeah.
too bad.
And it really probably was my fault because I definitely went over some rocky terrain.
Right.
and
Had my high
it's
heels
never-
on.
No.
I was in
Never
full
been the same.
burlesque outfit and
No.
kayaking down the White River.
I mean, I would try
Now,
it.
Right?
Where'd you take the inflatable kayak to?
Just all over Michigan.
Really?
Yeah, there's just so much
You
water
didn't take it
up
out
there.
to like Yosemite or anything, and
No,
some
but
White River in
I
your-
would because Yosemite is my favorite place on this planet. So.
I went out to New Mexico, and they put me me and my girlfriend at the time, I don't remember where, but we went whitewater rafting, and they had a kayak towing behind it, and I made the mistake of getting into the kayak, which was an inflatable kayak, and the water level was a bit low, and my ass hurt.
Yeah, they're not
Because
really
you get into
made
the
for, like,
you get
rough
into the
water.
little rocks and the little they're going through on a big boat through the rapids, and
Yeah.
I'm in a inflatable kayak and your ass is dragging on rocks and stuff, and it's
Yeah, that's not the place for
yeah.
that.
And then it started to deflate
Oh.
as they were ahead of me, and I'm just kind of waving, hoping somebody comes and turns around and sees me, going, hey guys, I'm sinking. So there's my
But
there's
you
my initial
obviously
distrust
survived.
of yes, but there's my initial
Yeah,
distrust
no,
of the
it is
inflatables.
definitely not made for that kind of.
Nope, it's
Right.
floating down a nice calm
Yeah.
river.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess you could do that.
We took Roach up to northern Michigan with us and go canoeing. He'd never been canoeing before. And they put him in a boat with Ryan, who hadn't been probably since he was a kid, which he wasn't. He wasn't actually in control.
Two
And they gave him all the beer.
Oh, two uncoordinated people
And
in a boat.
They were like, they were
Drinking.
They were the last ones. No, they
in a
they
canoe,
tried.
mind you, as well.
They
Because
tried until someone noticed there was beer floating down the river
Oh no.
because they tipped. And
yeah, you need to give people like that something with a very wide bottom and flat. Canoe
Canoes
is
are
not.
way harder than
Th-
kayaks.
they are
Like,
way
you would
harder.
Never know it, but
yeah,
they are.
And I
Except
think
for those
people-
really little kayaks that those nut jobs do,
Oh, yeah,
going
no,
over
no, not that.
waterfalls,
Oh,
and they're just
yeah.
flipping over all the in your
not
sport
doing
kayaks or whatever. Yeah, those are crazy. But yeah, man, canoes are
They're so
crazy
easy to
dangerous.
tip.
They're
Yeah.
yeah.
Like you can't even turn your head or you're sideways.
Right, you're just
Like do not look, do not move, do
Yeah.
not breathe.
yeah. If you can't turn your head driving your car and keep your car straight, then don't get in a canoe. I see those. Well, you've seen especially when you're younger and you're turning your head, you see people. It's just like whoa, shit. That's because my nephews do that.
Yeah.
Well, luckily in a canoe there's not a semi coming at you, so it's not
True.
as bad.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, but you can drown and spill.
Okay.
Your beer could end up in the water.
Right. There's
That's-
important
yeah.
things going on.
There you go.
Jackass.
All right, let's take a quick 5 and
Okay.
grab some more brew and talk about some more art and what Holly's got
I
going on
actually want to hear about the taxidermy. I heard the
I did
word
too, yeah.
taxidermy.
Yeah, 'cause I
and
don't
then
think
now
I've
I'm
seen
just
any of that.
really curious where you're getting the animals from.
Well, I know I'm
We'll
gonna
leave it at that. We're not going to answer that yet.
I'm gonna count my cats now and then again before
Right.
she leaves and then after she leaves.
I mean, you did see how I was buttering that one up when I walked in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Max is
Like,
probably
why-
a taxidermist's dream. I mean,
A lot of awkward. There's a lot of awkward chipmunk pieces in her. But I want to know about the taxidermy a little bit.
All right, back
Yeah,
in
cheers.
flash.
Blind Pig Confessions is the greatest podcast there ever was. My name is Dave Smiley from WZPL, and if you don't listen to this show, you're dumb.
If you're a craft beer guy who can't get it nearby, do yourself a favor and log into Tavour.
Hi, this is Kelly from 18th Street Brewery, and you are listening to Blind Pig Confessions.
All right,
So-
we are here with Holly.
Yeah, she already teased me about being colorblind and called me dyslexic.
Dyslexic.
No,
Yep.
I just asked a question.
Nope. It's a valid
It's- it's
question. I have
valid.
to put up with it for years.
It is, but but she asked what colors I can see, and my
All
brothers.
you can
of
see
us
all
are-
of them.
Yeah, I can see them all. Don't know what the hell they are. I have 2 older brothers, and they're colorblind, but it got worse as I'm the youngest, and my oldest brother has it, and he has problems with brown and green.
That sounds like cloning. Like a copy of a copy gets worse, and then another copy of a
Yeah.
cloning. Were you just
Are you a
cloned?
clone?
Are you a clone?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Somebody asked about my twin brother. I know you had a twin brother. I'm like, yeah, first I've heard about it. What are you talking about? They're like that guy standing down a couple from me. I'm like,
No.
I don't know who that is. But
Is your younger brother
point-
worse?
Huh?
He has worse color blindness than you?
Who?
You said it got worse as.
I'm the worst because I have it all.
But you're not the youngest, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Dave was younger than you.
No, Dave's the oldest.
Oh.
So Dave and then Ryan gets his blues, and then I get them both mixed up. And there's not even a thing for it. Like they don't. There's blue, green, eye vision, and red, whatever there is, and I get
You have
them all
the
mixed
no
up.
vision.
And so
Oh, wow.
I can see that when you look at colorblind, that first page is a frickin' 2. It's in yellow, and I can pick that out.
He can get yellows.
Other than that,
Oh, wow,
I
that's
can
crazy.
squint and kind of pick some of them out. but
Notice the
I-
color of the mic cable.
Yeah.
Just mine. I said I plugged in one today because he always gives me a hard time when not getting set up. I'm like, I can't set everything up. I can set mine
He
up.
needs me here. I told him I'm just gonna have to get like really big labels on and
Well,
write
that's
them
what,
on there.
because I did electric work and I don't know. Probably shouldn't say where in case something happened. But when I was young, and that's what I had to do. Like they were yelling at me what was taking so long. But when I would take stuff off, I would have to put little notes on there.
Oh, wow.
And
That
type
would be
it on.
really
Oh yeah,
challenging.
the
And
radio
it's just
the
'cause
radio engineer I learned from when I started working as an engineer in radio in '97 when I moved out to Arizona. He was colorblind, but he's taking like big bundles of like 32 pair, so 64 total cables. You know, it's like brown, white, brown, green, white, green, blue, white, blue, and all these. And he figured out a way if he got one, he could line all the rest of them up. But he was colorblind.
Don't touch them after that.
Yeah, but I mean, he could get them all separated into the right thing. But he was he figured it out after a while. But I mean, especially when you're looking at those little wires and it's just a small little strip of color.
It's like something you take for granted.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's true.
Really
I tease him
challenging
for
to
it, but
not
it does
be able
gotta
to do that.
suck. You know,
It does.
if you've
I
ever
mean,
seen him paint a picture, it's
They need to make different like
right.
textures of cord, like different patterns on them or something.
he only works.
Yeah.
He only works in charcoal because it's just easier. Black.
Well, that's what they do in a submarine. They put patterns on the floor. But it's not for colorblindness. It's when they turn, you do running drills and stuff. They turn lights out, and you have to know where shit's at.
Oh yeah.
To plug in your air. To,
See,
if
they
you're
should
running.
just do that with all kinds
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
And that was when I was going out. I was gonna be a nuke, and I was getting ready to sign, and they went, "Whoa,
Whoa.
whoa, whoa!" They're like,
Hold on.
"You can't be a nuke." And I'm
I
like,
can't call you. You're not going to be in that movie where you got to cut the red wire with 2 seconds to spare on the nuke to save it.
but I kept
Cut the red
telling them,
wire.
It wasn't like I was hiding. I'm like, yeah, I'm telling you guys, I'm colorblind for the last 3 hours through this process, And they're like getting ready to sign, like, whoa.
Like, hey,
Like, holy shit.
you're
you were-
definitely
but
not.
like,
On,
you
you're
were
not.
really
You're not on
colorblind.
the bomb squad.
Yeah, but then when I got on, you have to qualify the whole boat. So I had to qualify in the room anyway. So it's like I had to learn where shit was just by where it was
Yeah.
at. I couldn't learn by color. So
Yeah.
I knew that place better than a lot of people do.
Yeah, because
so-
if you could do it, then
It will limit
Yeah.
you a little bit on that. That sucks. 'Cause you
So-
couldn't. Yeah.
Well, that's why I was young. I said, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to manage because I have to figure I can't do this shit. So
Yet,
I'll
what's
have to
really
manage other
annoying
people
is
doing it.
he's wickedly more stylish than I am, and I can see colors. I just don't know how to
what's
put the
your
right colors
excuse?
together. I'm a horror. I can't put the right colors together. But he'll show up in like all kind, and
but I have
everything matches perfectly.
That's because I have to know. I have to memorize what I can wear with what, or else I can't. I can't shop. I can't do
okay.
that stuff by myself.
Okay.
Shoes. That's the only thing I can go pick out. But
Really?
I just can't wear them. That's just I can wear 'em unless they're black. I mean, I was like, we're black on anything. But yeah, it's
He's
so,
colorblind, but way more stylish than all the rest of us.
So that's why
Very
I just
annoying.
throwing jeans. But yeah, I can't do that shit. I almost took a drink of this. That would be
That's
polite.
okay. You could take a drink.
I mean, before I shared.
Well, let's. So, Holly, what else do you do? So you're talking about you've got an online gallery, and then you talked about some taxidermy.
Yeah. I don't actually do the taxidermying.
Meaning,
As far as like, I don't cut open the animal and
okay. Do you
put
trap
stuff
the
in it.
animal?
No.
Okay.
No.
You just find them.
I love animals way too much to be able to go through that process.
That seems weird. Then,
However, I know I'm all kinds of complicated, but I find because I work in antiques and vintage a lot, I find a lot of antique and vintage taxidermy,
okay.
and a lot of times it's the bad stuff.
So you're using
Which is the
pre-done
good stuff.
taxidermy. You're not like
Yes.
finding an animal and giving it to a taxidermist and say,
Correct.
"Hey, put this in a
I'm
stuff
not
this
stealing
thing
people's
for me."
cats
Okay.
out of their home,
Yet.
as was implied. No, I'm primarily using taxidermy that's antique or vintage, or I do use like bones that I find like in the woods and things like that. But as far as like
Interesting.
an actual furry animal, no, I can't.
What are you doing with the taxidermied?
So I
things?
like to create a kind of narrative for the animal, and so I turn it into a creature with a backstory. So like I've done a fox that was a queen, and my thought process was kind of like, if you really did like wander into a magical forest where foxes were queens, what would that look like? Because I don't want it to be cartoony or kind of cheap looking. Like I want it to look like, what would that actually look like if it existed? So it's kind of like a fantasy realism sort of thing.
Okay. All
So,
right.
but it was just one of those COVID things that,
Oh, you started this during COVID.
yeah,
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
sitting around staring at some dead animals. And
I was gonna say, do you know what happened? Do you when that inspiration hit? What you were doing? What you were watching? Or
just a lot of staying home. No, it's just I've always been fascinated by taxidermy in general. But it is a weird juxtaposition because I do love animals. So I try to make sure that everything I have is ethically sourced or died of natural causes. But with antique pieces, sometimes you don't know.
Well,
right?
yeah.
Like the story has been lost,
Yeah.
for decades.
Yeah.
So. But I do try to, find things that did die naturally that I can just kind of give a new life in a way. So
Interesting.
I'm still trying to see what could have been doing. What was she watching? When that popped
nothing.
into her head?
It's
I wanna
interesting.
check
I
it.
watched very little TV during the pandemic. Like I was so just bored with it.
Yeah, I think I watch less now than I did because of that. Cause I think it's just like, sometimes I come home and just relax a little bit, watch a little bit of tube before I
Yeah.
start doing something else. But now it's like I don't want to keep doing something else. I don't even want to get back
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, I
If
needed
it's not a
something
hockey
that
game-
engaged my mind more
Yeah.
than just sitting there and watching things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it actually, there was this moment where I was just like, screw it, and I just set up tables and tarps all over my house and just basically made my entire house an art studio because I was like, no one's coming over. Doesn't matter. Don't need to go anywhere.
Wow, I feel like a loser. I have none of that.
You didn't turn dead animals into things?
No. I just kind of, I had, so right before the pandemic, when did the pandemic? Yeah. I bought my first house.
Oh, okay.
So I used the early, and right before the pandemic really went into full swing, when we did the first short lockdown, that was supposed to, and Castleton was a ghost town. But I had been building out my patio because I'm like, all right, I bought a house. I'm making a cool patio. I was building things with the cinder. It's all cinder block and wood stuff.
Yeah.
But, it's cheap. I made a bunch of benches with cinder block and 4x4s. I made my own cedar bar. I made a pallet fold down bar. You've seen a bunch of my stuff. And I started making this because I'm like, cool, I got a house now. I'm going to throw some parties. People are going to come over. And then there's a fucking pandemic.
Like, nope, look at this patio you got that no one's ever going to see. I just imagined your patio just becoming bigger than your house. It just keeps going.
Yeah,
and going
right.
and
I'm just
going.
like, oh, sweet, man. I found these cool umbrellas. I put all these cool little mason jar fairy light solar things
Yeah.
around.
I never used the living room. I just take this wall down.
Right? Yeah. It's
Living
at that
room
point, yeah.
outside.
No, and then eventually I just kind of gave up because I'm like, fuck.
Did you
I am
ever
always
have
a
your
date-
parties?
I
had a
had
couple.
one. I had July 4th 2 years ago,
Oh, come on.
and that was it.
It's
No,
time
I mean,
to have some parties.
no, but now I got to refresh the whole thing though because it's all the
Now it's not
cushions
new.
have all lost their color. The umbrellas have lost their color.
Well, he will never know. It's fine.
Well, yeah, he's fine. We had a few shows in the garage or on the back
Yeah,
patio.
yeah.
But once it all hit and everybody just kind of stopped going, it was just,
Yeah.
wasn't safe to be, not safe. It was worrisome to be around anybody because you didn't want to give it to your friend who gave it to his mom or
Yeah.
gave it to his dad. And you're just, all of it's just, so eventually it all just super slowed down. Even when it wasn't really a big deal and the lockdown wasn't really in effect, but you kind of just stopped going around still and doing stuff.
Yeah, because it was still do I want to go to the hospital?
Yeah.
You didn't know how to
Oh,
get back
I'm
into
whole,
things.
yeah,
Just,
I'm wholly envious of people who have artistic talent. I have no artistic anything. I'm a computer nerd, so I built.
See, I'm jealous of that.
Right, but it's
Don't be.
No, don't be.
I am because there's so many things I'm like, I wish I could do that, and it's just even just setting up a new router, I was like, this is overwhelming. I can't do.
No,
this.
I'm here because I do too. Because there's some simple things I'm like, to him it just seems like dumb. It just
natural.
it
Yeah.
just seems simple. I'm like, no, it's not that.
Yeah.
You
freaking
have to
easy.
have that type of brain.
Yeah,
though.
I'm like, I'm not a dumb person, but that makes no sense to me what you just did.
Yeah.
It's like I did that. He's like, you couldn't have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like
just
nope,
not
you
good
didn't
with-
do it the right way.
Like anything that's electronic or anything that I have to sit there and read the directions, I'm not good at. If you showed me how to do it, I could do it. But
Yeah.
to read,
Yeah.
just
I'm
10
just
pages of directions. Not
I'm a
happening.
natural for finding that stuff out, or data mining, or finding the answer. I'm not really good at what I do, but I know how to use Google really well.
Hey, that is important.
That is a job. That is a job skill in itself. But I'm always envious because I actually used to be rather artistic when I was younger.
So it's there.
Nah, it's gone. Nah, it's gone.
I think it's probably.
Well, I mean, like
just
I
very
used to
deep down.
I used to club DJ, and to me that was art because I would.
Yeah.
You just gotta find.
I'm
other
mixing
avenue that-
beats, and
that
then I would
works.
actually start making some of my own mixes and mixing things to mashups and things like, just I'd finish a night at the club. It's 3:00 in the morning. I come home and I'm still hopped up on Red Bull and vodka. So I'm making mashups like.
You can still do
Yeah.
that though.
No, I can't. I've tried. I actually tried to sit down, and I'm just like,
Did you have the Red Bull?
I was
and
gonna say, did
vodka?
you-
no, my heart
Well-
can't. I'm pretty sure my heart needs to not take that anymore because I did that for about 10 years, and I'm pretty sure I have an 80-year-old's heart probably by this point. You don't
Well-
realize the amount of Red Bull and vodka I used to
Maybe
drink.
you need to find whatever your new thing is.
I'm trying. I'm really trying. I was hoping to do some more of the woodworking and stuff, but now wood's too expensive to play with.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I was real proud of myself making my little because I took this idea for a pallet bar, but it just hangs on the wall. It folds down. It's got lights inside it that say bar, and it's got chalk paint.
Tell you
It's
what,
pretty cool, right?
After the show, I bet you we can take you downtown, find some cheap wood for you to play with. We'll make it happen. Man.
that sounds dirty.
Yeah, that does not.
That
sound
sounds
right.
wrong at all. You're gonna go downtown and find you some cheap wood.
To play with.
Yeah, I don't want to play with any of those people.
I don't know.
We're not going to that corner. I don't want to go to that corner.
But it was hard for me to get writing with for an actual magazine. I had to write a story over.
Sure.
It had to be real to what was there, and I'm taking something and making a story out of the interview. And I'm like, that was difficult for me because I don't see things that way. Like I could draw when I was growing up, but
I could do that
whatever. I
too.
couldn't look at something and draw that. It's gonna be there's gonna be something coming out of it. There's gonna
Yeah.
be that's not what I'm gonna see. Where my brother can look at something and draw it, and it looks, and, he was I don't know why he's quick because he was actually really good when he was young. He could look at he could do that kind of thing and look at it and draw it. And there's gonna be a demon coming out of it, and just stupid shit. Because I can't.
That's your
Sounds like dark-
artistic version.
Sounds
of
like
it.
darker issues.
And when I write, most of my stuff is sarcastic. When I write, it's sarcastic, so it was hard to actually take people's,
Something you need to be more serious
right.
about.
And so it was cool that I did that because I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for her and get me to do that. And
Yeah. Sometimes you got to
and-
push yourself out of your
creative
and comfort zone.
It was good to do it. And
I heard the best word the other day, and it made me think of you and one of my other friends, and it was a sarcas hole. You said because most of your shit's sarcastic, and I'm like, Brendan's a sarcas hole.
Yeah.
I like that one. It did. It made me think of you.
I kind of like that.
I used to be able to write too. I mean, I was in an AP English, and creative writing, and in college, and but yet I also had a minor in mathematics, and I think life eventually, depending on it happens to not everybody, but life beats a few things out of you and
Yeah.
beats the joy out of it. The DJing part of the music and all that got way beat out of me in Arizona, just
Yeah.
from the industry and the people
Like just
and
go
some
too
of them.
hard, too long.
Yeah, well, the industry and the people and
Yeah.
the backstabbing and I got fired. I was doing a radio gig for like 2 years, live on the radio, a retro night, piped out from the club onto the radio for like 2 years. I got fired for playing. The bar owner didn't like it. I got fired for mixing from, I think it was AC/DC, literally live. The natural drum beats, not easy, but I went from AC/DC something into Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond to finish out my show because I thought it was fucking funny.
And now
And
everyone's
he and
doing
that
that on,
no, but
on,
the owner hated Neil Diamond.
TikTok.
It didn't even occur to me, but the owner hated Neil Diamond, so I got fired the next week.
But how would you possibly know that? You can't know.
Right,
what
but that's what I
everybody
meant. But
doesn't
that's what I
like.
meant. I'm like, dude, but everybody in the club fucking loved it.
Yeah, and
They're like, holy shit.
shouldn't that be his
Right,
priority, like, as a
but that's
business
what I
owner?
meant. It was the backstabbing. So music kind of beat out of me, I think, after a while.
That's hard when something kind of sours it for you.
Yeah, it's hard to get back
'cause
into it.
There's not. I mean, you can't go into many industries without some backstab
Right.
going on.
Yeah,
pretty
I
much.
took like 2
Unfortunately,
years
there's
off, and there was a
something.
big thing where my best friend at the time, because we were DJ partners, we usually worked a lot of shows. He kind of backstabbed me because he took the job. They gave him the job, and he took it.
Yeah.
And so we didn't talk to each other for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And there was a guy I'd lived with for like 4 years.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. And so that's what beat a lot, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of rough memories to it, and so you lose some of that.
And it's super hard because I feel like
And
there's
then-
like an element of that in any type of like business or creative,
When you're
endeavor.
trying to get it out there for people to see,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you get enough people, and yeah. And I don't know if it's not even negative feedback; it's just weird backstabbing
yeah.
and stuff. And you're just like,
It
well,
just,
I
like,
don't,
puts
I don't
you in
really
a
want
bad
to do
place
this
with it,
anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go do something else.
But I think that, like, I always try to think of those moments as like that's kind of the universe being like it's time to do something else. Like you've exhausted
yeah.
this,
Yeah, but like I said, I'm jealous of a lot of you guys. I can't. Most of my art is technical now. It's I'm very good at what I do and organizing some things and technically putting some things together, but I don't do any art anymore. There's no music playing around. I don't draw. I don't write. It's just my brain's not at that stage anymore. So I'm always very jealous. So circling back to all of it, I'm very jealous of you guys.
Try some
Well,
different
I'm
Very
stuff.
jealous
envious.
of you. So
Very envious.
I'm not.
Well, you guys, having that art, technical stuff.
Throw some
because
different music on. Put some. Do
Well, the hard
do
part,
something different.
but
though.
the hard
Maybe
part
just-
about technical and being good at that is people want something from you all the time. Whereas if
I think that's the case with life.
but
Yeah.
no, but I
Yep.
mean when you
If
have
you're
an
good at
artist, but when you
anything.
have an artistic, you're just artistically expressing and getting something out of yourself. People, you
oh
don't
no,
necessarily.
people still want
Really,
something.
they're like,
yeah.
well, yeah, I guess you get all the entitled people who's like, hey, can you make me something?
Even-
Oh, well, but give it to me for free. I'll put it on my Instagram, and you'll get all
You'll get
kinds of followers.
exposure.
You'll get exposure.
Yeah, no,
That's gotta be the
even
hard
in,
part.
Like burlesque, like I'll get people who want to hire me for something, and they want me to perform to a specific song. And
That's
I'm
not how
like,
burlesque works,
But
is it?
no.
Burlesque is
No.
your thing,
Yeah.
and they deal
Yeah,
they
and
deal with
it's
whatever
like-
you decide to do.
Or people have said, "Can I give you a costume to wear?" And it's like,
No.
no. Like, there is a reason that I chose a specific song. There is a reason that I chose the way the costuming works. Like, it's so much more complicated than that. But I'm still shocked that people still
I didn't even
ask
think-
for
yeah,
that.
You're not a cosplay for hire.
I mean, I kind of.
Well, I mean, I can be, but-
I mean, like, I definitely have been hired to be multiple Marvel characters in my life.
But when you're going, when
But-
they're hiring Holly, they're hiring Holly. They're not going
Right.
out. That, so I mean, you,
Yeah.
because you
That is the character.
and you
they're
kind of are. A
hiring,
bit,
yeah.
I mean, some people do it anything, performing. They do it, kind of part time or fun outside there. But you are doing it for. I mean, this is your living. This is what you love to do, and you're making.
Yeah, pre-COVID, I was doing it. I mean, more than full time.
Right.
I was doing classes all the time, and I was performing. Anywhere from 2 to 4 shows a week.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now is that starting to come back again, alive and a little
it's
slower
it's kind
than?
of hard to gauge because a lot of things have changed. But I don't think it'll quite ever be where it was.
It was just kind of. I mean, it was really starting to build and build. Especially, I mean, in this area in Indy, it
Yeah.
was really
Yeah.
becoming. It was getting building, and you were seeing more and more of it, which is really cool. And then, COVID just kind of.
Yeah.
But you'd think, maybe after. Maybe it takes more time, but you don't think it'll come bursting out like
Well,
it was.
what I've seen so far is it seems like a lot of the people who are doing it more as like a hobby or had just gotten into it, a lot of those people kind of lost their luster for it.
Or found
because-
another venue to.
Yeah,
get
because
their-
it's
yeah.
been 2 years, you
Yeah.
know, and it's like when you just are starting to do something and then you kind of get like the wind knocked out of your
Yeah.
sails. A lot of people didn't go back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people were kind of already at the point where they were thinking about retiring,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of just made an earlier retirement.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to say where it's going to go, but I'm just glad that we're back to being able to do at least
To do
some
it.
shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like the audience is ready for it. I mean,
Yeah.
almost every show that I've attended so far has been sold out. So
Nice.
people are definitely looking for that sort of entertainment again.
Yeah, and it was a fun event to go to because the crowd is there to have fun, and it's they're going there to, it's just a different atmosphere, and
Yeah.
it's,
Sure.
even going to see a comedy show sometimes can be, people aren't there to have fun, they're there to get drunk.
You're right.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean, and it is different. Even though you guys will do both, you have comedy and but you just go into a straight. Some people are shit faced before the thing starts, and it's just. But that's not the
Make me
crowd that's
laugh,
at,
funny
this burlesque
man.
show, and maybe there have been those crowds. I haven't seen one like that at a burlesque show.
Not typically.
It's
No.
usually just a fun crowd there to have fun, and they're there to have just fun for the
Because
night.
you're not.
Yeah, and-
Typically, that's an event. I mean, you're not stumbling into a burlesque show, are you? I mean, so it's not like the
Rarely,
guy. It's
yeah.
not like the drunk crew of 6 guys that have been out drinking all night or
But
stumbling
even,
into
you know,
a.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely
Like
have
they
our
would,
bachelor parties and things like that.
But they
Yeah.
know going into it. They're not
Yeah.
showing up because it's drunk and the
Right.
it's and take no offense, please. It's
Oh,
not. You get a bunch of drunk guys, and then there's a strip club. Yeah, they'll go to that drunk, and there's an expectation there. But the burlesque show always seems to be more classy and a much more of an event and an artistic performance, and you know what I mean.
just seems like
I hope there was no. I wasn't trying to. I'm just trying to say you don't usually see a bunch of like drunk guys stumble in like they would a strip club.
Because like it seems like most of the burlesque crowd has some sort of connection to the performers. They're not strangers,
Right.
So they're actually coming out to support an artist.
And that's what I mean. That's what I was trying to get across.
so-
I'm never always good at getting across my point. Ask
there
him.
definitely there definitely are people who just have heard of burlesque and just want
Yeah.
to know what it's about, and they don't know anyone that's there. But most of the time it starts out as like, oh, my coworker does this, or my friend does this, or whatever, and that kind of like gets them hooked.
Right.
So usually there's some sort of connection with someone that's performing.
And that's what I mean. Yeah, it's a lot different.
I mean, there's always, if there's alcohol, there's always
well, there's always going to be some
drunk
drunk people who
people.
get a little bit, but they're not going
for the
into like he
most
was talking
part-
about. You're going into a comedy show already wasted. You're
Yeah.
going into, you know,
for the most part. Like, I mean, in like almost a decade of performing, I have not really had any incidents.
awesome.
Even this, with craft beer, and people aren't going into breweries to go in there and get shit faced. Usually, you know what I mean. It's a different atmosphere. They're going in to have
You're
a
not
good
trying to
drink
get dollar
and-
beers and
Right.
drink as
Right.
many as
It's
you
not
can.
dollar craft beer night.
No, obviously those
I would go
there's
to that,
always
though.
stumble
Yeah.
in from somewhere. There's always somebody will go in there.
Especially in the later
Have too much,
hours,
but
but you see a lot of the
that's not
craft breweries
typical
have,
of the atmosphere.
but also you see a lot of the craft breweries have different tap room hours.
Yeah,
not
it's
like a
till
bar.
2 a.m. and
Yeah, they're not staying open in the tap room till 2 a.m. Usually, it's 10 or
Yeah.
11 o'clock. Whereas the bar, where people are trying to get drunk, they're trying to get shit faced. They're not getting shit faced at the bar and then stumbling over to the craft brewery
Right.
at midnight.
yeah, that's
And
gonna get
causing
real
trouble.
expensive.
Yeah.
which I think is
And they're going to realize but you go to the craft bar, craft beer and all that, you can get drunk off less beer. But you also
But it's a
enjoy the
different crowd.
conversation.
Yeah.
You're playing the games.
Right.
It's an experience. It's a social
and it's about
thing,
the beer.
like the burlesque. It's a social time, not
Yeah.
just.
And
That's
it's funny what
$1.64
people that are
ounce
just
beer
turning 21 now, or in our day 18 to 21, they're drinking just the worst shit you could drink.
Oh,
cheap,
yeah.
cheap,
Cheapest shit you can
and
get.
they you talk to people now, you're like, what was your first? And they're talking about craft beer. It's like they're
Yeah,
not drinking
it's
that crap
weird.
anymore. So that and it's kind of changing. So hopefully you're not going to see as many idiots as you did back like us.
Yes,
you know,
not as
That's
many.
an interesting point. Like, oh god, I remember like going in and buying the big bottles of Arbor Mist
Yeah.
Right?
at
Yeah.
the grocery store for like $9.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, how in the world did I ever
Yeah.
drink
Right?
that?
But it was just about getting. You didn't give a shit about the taste. But now,
Well, in some
that
cases,
scene has
you
brought
had
people
your
getting in.
preferences, but
Right.
it was still whatever alcohol you could get the most
was
you could
under
get for the
$10.
cheapest.
Yeah.
Right. Or you had to pool together to get the big jug of like, Captain Morgan's, and some soda, That's what
Whatever was in the
we drank a
plastic
lot.
bottle.
Usually, yes, it was the easiest thing to get.
Oh.
All right. Speaking of drinking,
Yeah. A little Hidalgo. Eh?
what did we have here? We got another OEC one, right?
We
We're
did.
staying with the
The first one was so good. We said let's just try another one.
Odinum, Exodum, Octorosum, I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah. Just you said it. Just you nailed it. OEC Brewing. This is a Hidalgo.
Order of eccentric brewers or boilers, you said? Or
boilers.
something?
Yep.
All right.
And this is the best bitter ale. So kind of get a little English
Is their
ale
take
taste,
on
but
a British ale? British bitter.
but a little bit lighter and just like the other one. It's got a little bit. It's just got a lighter,
That's brown sugar.
crisper, huh?
That's got some brown
Definitely got a little
sugar in
bit
it.
of brown sugar. What's up, kitty? Get a little brown sugar. Oh, I wasn't talking to you, Pat. Sorry.
Oh, there you are.
But
That does have it. That's got a lot of brown sugar flavor to it.
a little bit. Maybe it warms up again. I don't know. I'm not getting a lot of brown sugar. But
It's on the back end.
Holly, would you like some best bitter?
Would
ale?
you like a
I'll
British?
have a little
a bitter?
splash because now I'm curious about this brown sugar.
It's
good,
very
that's
very
good.
malty and caramely. It's very
Yeah.
malty, very
Oh.
caramely.
It's like an English ale, but it's real light. I don't.
It's
I
not
get
as
just
bitter
a
as
hint-
an
I
English
get a brown sugar, but
yeah.
just a little bit. Not definitely as much as.
It's not as bitter as
You're
an
getting out
English
of that.
bitter.
No.
That's good. That's like more of like a fall beer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
That malty, biscuity. I like that. I like
It is great.
I
It's a
think this is
spectacular
absolutely
beer.
Delicious. Yeah, I
Because
like it a lot.
it's got those warm notes, but it still feels light.
Yeah, definitely.
I like this even better than the tropical one. I think this is really good.
I mean, this is what you'd basically, order if you're in England. Give me a pint of bitters, and you're going to get something like this. Feels a little lighter, a little different, but love an old English bitter, though.
Oh yeah, yeah. OEC. They're at the look up.
They're doing really good.
final
And so
four.
far, I'm really good. I'm impressed by the 2 beers.
Open fermented.
Yes, that was the other thing I saw.
Yep. Very cool. Yeah,
Which is dangerous. A little open fermentation can be dangerous, can't it?
Not anymore.
Depends on which garage you're in, I guess.
Don't we have antibiotics for that now?
Yeah.
No, that's what grows on the beer.
That's who putting those
Or
pottery
yes,
things.
that's the penicillin ale, and the amoxicillin sour
Yum.
that you get. We went to a couple. Oh my God, there was one in town here. They're closed. I think it was like
We knew it wouldn't be long.
I think it was like Happy Face or something.
It was happy.
It was-
something.
yeah, but
there was nothing happy about the place. That's
It looked like it was a neat little place because it looked like it was at an old like diner bar. So there was like a diner counter, and then the front was glass. It was downtown, Fountain
Guy
Square.
was super.
Fountain Square area, right off Fountain Square area.
I can't
think.
remember. Remember the guy was really nice when he found
Oh,
what we did.
super
He's
guys.
like, hey, and he wanted to show us around.
Yeah, so he showed us out back.
And then we saw what they were brewing.
They had a no.
no.
For first, it was more of where they were the grinder
Oh,
area.
yeah.
Just it was a mess, like because they were grinding the oats and the thing, and they were grinding some of their own. That's great, but then you look in the area of the brewery and it's just like I think you said something about sour. It's
Yeah.
like we're doing some sours, and I'm like I don't think you have any choice but to do sours
Yeah,
at
it's
this
like-
fucking point.
I mean, why would you want to be given
The floor
tours
wasn't
of,
clean. The floor was not clean. It's not like if you go to like Primeval in Noblesville, you get to see the whole brewery. That shit's
It was like-
clean.
Yeah.
Somebody had some money and they had somebody else that could brew, and they said, okay, let's just
Here,
do it.
let's try
But
this.
Didn't really
Didn't really know
know
what they were
all
in.
the.
I mean, the beer wasn't bad,
It wasn't.
but
As far
again,
as,
it was
like,
brand
cleanliness
new, and so I don't think they had a chance to sour too many beers. But we looked back and in the back going, this ain't gonna be here long.
And you were right.
Yeah, it was not there for very long. You could see the standards again. It looked like someone trying to brew out of the garage on a slightly upscaled system, but nobody was keeping track of cleanliness. And
Yeah, that's important.
because once you spoil it takes forever to get. If you start spoiling and sour out your system, and you get it infected.
They probably just closed and reopened somewhere else as a sour beer bar. Or something,
Right?
and
Yeah, at that
that's about
point.
it. So
But,
we'll
yeah.
see one of those. Watch
We've
out.
seen a few of those around, and it's a little dangerous. It's much better now, but that was also during the big boom where everybody was trying it, which the pandemic filtered a lot. Sorry to a lot of places,
Yeah.
filtered a lot of those out. I think that actually avoided. It avoided the true bubble that would have burst. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like oversaturation.
Yeah.
of-
I think it naturally desaturated some of the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And forced people to rethink, maybe not get into it, and just because your friends like it. As someone, I forget who always told us that, it's not about, your friends may tell you, oh, it's great, you're brewing in your garage, you really should put this out there. It's like, everybody loves it, but will they pay for it?
Right. Your friends are going to be like, just give me some
everybody
free.
loves beer when it's free. No matter how rough it is, or, coming out of your garage. But will they pay for it is another thing. So I can't remember who told us that years ago. But
I think it was Jerry.
was it Jerry?
It was a Jerry.
Yeah, it
It's a
was
Jerry.
Jerry. It was from Bier Brewery.
Brewery.
Yep. Very wise words, though, for the industry.
Yeah, he had a couple of them.
Yeah, he did some good nuggets here and there.
Good old Jerry.
So what else do you do? Do you have an online something you said?
That's rude.
Yeah.
What else do you do?
Well, no, she says
Nothing.
she does 100 things.
I do.
Kidding.
That's why I was like, she
I just
she
like giving
taxidermies weird, dead animals into weird scenes, and no, I'm just kidding.
No, I do.
No, I love it. But she does burlesque, and then, but you said you do stuff with antiques and,
Yeah,
and
I
other
do.
things too.
I have a vintage and antique Etsy shop online.
Okay.
And then I do mixed media art. And,
What's your Etsy shop? Is there a name you have to?
yeah,
you want
it's
to plug?
Miss Holly Hock Vintage.
Okay.
So I kind of just do a little bit of everything. I am really creative, but I'm also very like business oriented. So unfortunately, everything creative has to turn into a business. I'm one of those people who can't just do it for the pure pleasure of it. So that keeps me pretty busy.
When you started doing the like burlesque, when you started it as maybe a side gig that, hey, that would look fun, or did you guys go into it, hey, this is something I could do?
The market was very different when I first started. It was a lot of, performing in breweries, getting changed in the beer closet, and, it was very different. There weren't as many quote-unquote professional burlesque performers in the Midwest when I first started. That definitely changed after a couple of years. But I really was just in love with just the vintage aesthetic and the glamour of it. And I had grown up dancing, so it kind of just was a natural progression. And I had a friend in Indy that was performing because there were a couple of troupes that were popping up. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. And first time I was like, this is for me.
Really?
Yeah, it just like was a natural click, and then it just kept spiraling and turning into something bigger.
Now, do you see, is there the backstabbing even in that you see?
Oh, yeah, in everything.
I know we heard some stories that was pretty funny, but there's still, it was funny talking to just the different performers and just to get their take on everything, because it's just like anything else, there's a little bit of the backstabbing that goes on, and
I mean, whenever you're dealing with people in general,
you can't get away from it.
And because I used to work in salons like when I was 16 to 18, and even that, like I got out of working in salons because I was like, oh, I can't handle the drama, and then it's just like, oh, it's in everything.
It's in everything. Yeah, you can't get away from it.
Slightly different versions.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
but
true.
It's just you try to just surround yourself with the right people, and I've learned over the years that you just kind of let those people who want to like say bad things say whatever they're going to say, because the people who know you know the truth.
Yeah.
Or you have a pandemic and you just surround yourself with people.
Yeah. No, but I mean,
I don't want to do that again. I've done that enough for one lifetime.
But But it is interesting though. It seems that has also kickstarted the idea of losing some of the toxic shit. Around you and filter. Well, no, but filtering out. Now you can restart, and it's almost like a rebuild. You can kind of restart and see.
Yeah, like we tolerated a lot prior, and then when everything goes away, you kind of get to reassess what comes back into your life.
There you go. That's what it means.
Yeah, because it is being around that positivity or negativity. It definitely drains you, or it can.
But you don't. But you don't notice it a lot because you've been in
life.
it for so long. But then everybody got to take a break and take stock.
Same
thing with you think of jobs and all that. With the great resignation they call it. No, it's the great people are realizing that you're fucking you managers and all you people who thought you were, you're. I don't need that. I can find there are new companies and new people who have better ways of managing, who trust me to do this work and do that. Right. And I'm going to, do 8 hours work in a half an hour because you've left me to myself and you're not micromanaging. I think it's more like the Great Reset.
And it's interesting because like so many people are saying no one wants to work anymore. And I'm like, no, people just actually realize that their time in their life and what they put their energy into was worth more than $12 an hour.
Or worth but worth more than 2 hour drive in, 2 hour drive home, and then plus 8 hours plus you're working to work, and that's what the managers and the CEOs and if it were really nobody wants to work anymore, why is the unemployment rate down?
Yeah.
People are just going to the less toxic places, the places that make them.
And those are harder to find.
And really,
they are.
the shit work. I mean, I think, you see a lot of the bitching's coming from things like the big corporations and all that who slave waged everybody for so long because there are 10,000 McDonald's and you needed to fill those with people. Well, maybe you don't need 10,000 McDonald's now. Maybe you need to drop down to 5. You know what I mean? Or 5. And I mean 5, not 5,000. but that everybody it was like a great reset, which for you you reset your art and you started doing other things. Me, I reset some of the shit around me. He's reset and got back into writing.
And even though I loved what I was doing, I realized that I was doing way too much.
Right.
Because you know, a lot of my like personal relationships had suffered, and I wasn't spending as much time with my family and my friends because I was working all the time. I just couldn't say no to every opportunity that came my way. So it definitely makes you rethink things.
Yeah, and
Sure.
if I go out, I don't, you know, around negative people that before was just like, oh, that's just how they are. But now it's like, I don't need that.
I don't need
because
to
it
go
really
out
did
with
make
you
a
don't
difference.
have to be friends with that
Yeah, I don't,
person.
you know, it's not about, you know, like I cut off a friendship, but I don't need that. I don't want
Was
that
it really-
Like,
negativity.
did you lose
Was it really a
anything?
friendship?
Right. Well, I mean, just, you know, you'd think about, you know, maybe not, you know. Yeah,
And it may have been
like
at
a
one
friendship,
point.
But just, you know, people in general, you're used to being around.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's, you know, but then it was like, man,
You get more
they
selective.
really, yeah,
Yeah.
because they don't want that negativity, and it's, you know, it does make a huge difference to have positive
Yeah.
people and positive vibes
And
around.
it's hard because like it's really changed the way a lot of people's brains work now in a more complicated way. Like we can't live as like simply and passively, I guess.
Yep.
But I think it's more important.
But that is so frustrating to the big business status quo
Well,
that
you
had
had,
been
you know-
in charge for so long that all these people are
Well, that's what's
thinking for
scary is you
themselves
had-
again.
yeah.
And,
How dare they?
Right? And so they're all all of it's panicked and just it's all over the news. Oh, you know, it's nobody wants to work. You can't find anything. Well, no, I mean, honestly, and you see it, and I know it's maybe cliche, but all the Karen videos that are out, that shit is filmed now. These people are publicly shamed.
Yeah.
That's the shit. When I worked in retail, you dealt with that all day long.
Yeah.
You're just like, why would I want to put
you're-
up with you being an asshole? And I'll
You're
just
dealing with that, and then you're also doing something where it's just like a grind. Like you're
Right.
not advancing, you're not creating something, you're not setting things up for your future. You're just
yeah. And
working to
they're
get a
they're
paycheck.
they're working you to death for uselessness, but still expect you to love your job. You know, there's always that.
but you're going home with anxiety. And
Right,
depression.
yeah. I mean, I remember going into old to interviews long ago where it's just like I had to become a barista at the Starbucks at a Barnes and Noble, and I remember them going, you know, but ultimately some of the questions they ask you, you know, you're like, well, where do you see yourself in a couple of years? Or like, hopefully not fucking here.
Right. Like, what do
I
they
mean,
want you
they're
to
like, well,
say?
why do you want this job? I'm like, because I need cash.
Because I need to
But
be somewhere else.
Yeah,
in
you're
2
acting like I'm
years.
gonna make this my fucking career move. You know, no, man. I'm 22 years old and I don't have a job and I need to make some. Will I do my job very well? Yes, but I'm not staying here forever,
Right.
motherfucker.
Yeah. So I was laughing interviewing for like, you know, production worker, and it's like, why are you interviewing? Just give people
hire
a job and put them,
Yeah.
you know.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Not here.
Right. Yeah. If
I
they
would be
don't
like,
say
"Thank you
that,
for your honesty.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. I had a guy. It was hilarious. We were interviewing me and Stanley, this kid, and they always ask about, you know, people ask, you know, about time off or, you know, when you miss. Like nobody hardly is. They're not honest. Well, I never miss, you know. And this guy's like, oh, well, it was really nice out. And he's like, well, a day like today, I might not. He goes, I'll probably go in, but I'll be late because I might enjoy it. And we both looked at each other like, holy, this is awesome. So
Oh,
we
you
just
hired
went with
him.
it. We started talking. Yeah, hell yeah, we did. He was a great worker. And
Well, right.
and
He's like, when
you
I'm
know,
here, I'm gonna work, but
Yeah,
I
he
may
did.
call out a few times.
and it was
But
just
he's not
hilarious.
giving you the like
Right.
standard,
But he was being
like,
honest and
regurgitated
yeah.
answers.
And he was like, "Hey, I might go fishing for a couple hours first, and then I'll be in the afternoon, and you know, I'll get my stuff done." And
And I'll be in a better mood because of
Yeah.
it.
Right? Yeah.
And,
It's
you
like,
know, there's some-
technically,
there's
this
some
work you
places
want me
that-
to do doesn't
you know.
take 8 hours. I could do it in probably 5, which gives me 3 hours
Yeah.
to play around.
yeah, I mean, there's some kind. I mean, they've gotten more, you know, how to give people a way of life and being more flexible.
My
and then people
my
can come in
company
and-
just changed at the end of this year because normally, you know, you have accrued PTO, you know, paid time. You get like every 3 months you get another 24 hours worth of, you know, paid time off that
Right.
you can. They actually at the start of the new year we have to use up all our PTO now. Well, it makes sense to use it up now because at the beginning of the year there's no more accrued PTO. It's do you need to take a day off? Sure.
Wow.
And I don't have to worry, do I got enough hours to take a week's-long vacation somewhere?
But how do they prevent people from
Again,
being
it's
like,
honor system, and your
Okay.
if your work starts, it's up to your manager to pay attention to your work. Is your work getting done? Are you
Yeah.
falling behind? But it's no longer, they actually took a minute to say, you know, most people are generally good. If you know, if they start to abuse it, yeah, well, it can be revoked, and there's
Yeah.
a clause in there, but generally, because managers always had, apparently at this company, the management level had that. They didn't have to.
okay.
So they just decided to give it to everybody and say, you know what? Everybody's doing really good work. They're working hard. Some guys are working 12 hours a day. Other guys, I'm on call every third week. So I'm technically working my full day job and I'm on call 24/7.
Oh, wow.
So, but they're not compensating for that, well, they're supposed to eventually, but but things like that. They're I think some of the companies who are paying attention to what's happened, all that, are actually
and I think you have
doing
to.
that.
You have to.
Well, you don't have to. You have to if you want to keep people.
If you don't want your turnover rate to be ridiculous,
Right.
you have
You want
to
some
change
loyalty.
Well, and you're going to
the
get
way
better
that
product. You're going to get
society's
better
changing.
work out of people when they're happy and
Yeah.
like to
Right.
come into their job and aren't coming because they, it's like.
Right.
But
But the idea for
fighting how they're going to afford
yeah.
to get gas to get to work. And
But
that's not,
the idea
it
for
shouldn't have to
so
be like
long
that.
has been, let's micromanage. You got to be here. You got to
Right.
do 9
This
to
is the way it
5,
is,
9
take
to
it or leave it.
5, boom.
Right.
You drive in, you come, especially this people, the companies that need to figure out that you don't need everybody in that building.
Yeah.
It does help in some, certainly it helps in some cases, but like my job, I'm a remote employee. I've been a remote employee for 10 years
Oh, wow.
already. Start prior to this. A lot of what I did before was travel, but I've been remote for at least 6 of it in the last 10 years. So, you don't need a big office. You save
Right.
some overhead when you don't build that big giant building or lease out all those cubicles.
Yeah.
Definitely have a place where people can meet to do some team building, and a little
Right.
bit of on-site. But yeah, if they adapt, this whole thing I think has changed art, your friendships and figuring out and work.
Yeah, we've definitely experienced a very strange
Reset.
consciousness change.
Yeah, and
Hopefully
it's
it gets
still
better.
Trying to figure it all
Yeah,
out
I
too.
hope
which is,
because we still have a long.
There's
way
a
to go.
dark
Yeah.
side of
Yeah.
weird shit
Oh
happening.
yeah, there
with
for
all
sure
the-
is.
Yeah.
It's definitely not all
With all
like
the
rainbows,
with all the
but-
nationalists and the and that whole crap that's
Yeah.
come out of the woodwork too. But I'm hoping that
Should've
I'm
seen it
hoping
coming.
we have I'm hoping we beat some of that back.
But at least there has been some aspect that has changed instead of just continuing the exact same way we were. So
Yeah, turning into robots and
Right. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
starting to see some life
So
now.
let's hope there's some better change on the horizon here. But
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll take a
All right.
quick break. And
Well,
we'll
no,
come
I
back
think
in
we're-
and
are we done? How
Yeah, we'll
much-
come
what do
back.
we
Just
got?
want to get into her shows where she's got stuff coming up. A quick, quick
Quick
out
break.
and-
We'll come back and close it out.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Blind Pig Confessions. I am Kevin Furtick Realty with Remax Legends Group. And you can reach me at 317-869-7646 or at Gmail at kevinfurtickrealtor@gmail.com. If you have Facebook, hey, Kevin Furtick Realty. If you have Twitter, the Kevin Furtick. If you have Instagram, ladies and gentlemen, one more thing, the Kevin Furtick. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to be your realtor, and I would love to be able to raise your hand and say, the champ is home.
I'll bring you some taxidermy.
There you go.
I have a lovely goat head right now.
Oh, goodness. What are you doing with the
gonna-
goat head?
I haven't decided yet. I
Okay.
have several ideas.
Too many options. So there's so many options.
I feel that way with every single piece.
I'm even thinking of things to do with a goat head.
Oh, dear God, now. No.
Where'd you get a goat head?
I think I got that at an auction.
Okay, it wasn't a finding out in the woods. With the
No. Unfortunately, when you find them out in the woods, they're usually not ready to take home.
That's the bones part. You're going to leave it out there for a little while longer.
Yeah.
Now you
That's
I
that
like me where
taxidermy.
if you go anywhere where there's a dog or a cat, just you gotta. It doesn't even matter. Somebody says like, "Oh, you don't." My dog. Usually already got tackled the dog, and
Oh. Are you
because I just I
you
gotta
have
be-
to pet the dog?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, of course. I mean, come on.
There's some people that just don't. I mean, there's definitely people that don't like that.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand that either.
Like, I still do that every time I walk in the door to see my own dogs.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
just as excited as they are.
I'm allergic to cats. I don't generally go to the
That's
cats.
understandable.
So it's a mechanism I used over the years. If I hate cats, I don't really hate cats.
You're just allergic to them.
So it's easier to just hate them and not, and just think they're evil.
But you don't really.
No, not really. No.
I've had those moments where I'm in somewhere and they like introduce me to somebody and I see animal and it's
Yep.
and
I don't want to talk to you
And
anymore.
like you don't even realize
No,
that you're like
like-
being rude, and then you're
Yeah.
like, "Sorry,
You're
I
like, I
care
don't-
more about your pet."
yeah. Oh, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
what's your
no,
cat's name?
that's definitely me at
Yeah.
pretty much anybody's house. And I have a friend who has 2 pet prairie dogs.
What?
Yeah.
We have
And
prairie-
so
what?
every time I go over there, I'm like, I need to say hi to the prairie dogs.
Well, yeah, it's
first.
fucking prairie dogs. When are you going to be able to pet a prairie dog?
And they're like super happy about it. So that
well,
makes it
yeah,
even
I mean,
better.
Jesus. You know, I love those exotic ones where, you know, you see somebody that's got a fucking skunk or, you know, or a
yeah.
possum as a pet, and you're
I
going,
need to find a friend with a skunk or a possum.
right?
pet.
That would be, it'd be kind of awesome, you know? You'd be
know.
like, oh, sweet.
I don't even care what that person is like. I just want to
Yep,
be their
it's like,
friend.
yeah.
It's hard to find skunk. Now. I don't see them anymore.
Skunks?
Yeah.
Really?
Smell them.
Yeah. Not well. I'm growing up north, and we were just talking about this the other weekend because we used to have skunk. It was an everyday thing. There were skunks around growing up north, and now, and we never had. I didn't know what a possum was till I grew. Well, I knew what it was, but I never saw one until I moved to
Really?
Indiana.
Really?
We didn't have possum.
Yeah,
but now they're all over up there. They're
Yeah,
all over the road,
really?
and you don't see skunk anymore. So I'm like, are
I've
the
ki-
possum eating
I've-
the skunk? Because
I
no
have-
one's really talking. I don't hear about it, but I don't see skunk anymore.
I
I
have a-
rarely smell them.
I have a mangy coyote. I live on I live behind Castleton over on 81st in Allisonville, and there's a mangy coyote that now, and he's bald, but he's got
poor thing.
big ears and just hair on his tail. But he just goes in between the houses. It's a fucking coyote in central Indianapolis.
I'd be like putting some food out for
Nope.
him and
Nope.
like,
Nope.
hey, buddy. Actually, even though you're not supposed to do this.
I mean, I take my roommate's cats out there and go, "Here you go."
No. When I was in Yosemite, there was a pretty young coyote, I'd say, like adolescent coyote.
And this one
And-
looks like he's an adolescent, yeah.
Yeah, like he was smaller, and he just came right up to me, and so I just fed him with one hand and took pictures with another hand.
What?
Yeah, and he was just totally chill
What
about
did you
it.
feed him?
Fig Newtons. That's what I had.
Vegetarian
But
coyote.
he was really happy about it. But my dad
Because
was
there's
with
no
me.
skunks for him to eat or
I
possums. guess.
guess my dad was with me, and he's like, "You're gonna lose a hand." Like,
That is dangerous.
did not.
Because I lived in Arizona, and Arizona coyotes, you don't go near. You don't.
I do not have a natural fear of animals that I should have.
The bear and the bison and the moose.
I've seen a lot of bear really close. I tried to touch a badger, but it ran away.
Ooh, yeah, that's when you don't want to mess
What?
with.
No, you don't want.
That's-
No, you're playing with the wrong animals. No.
You just always have to have snacks on you. That's the key.
No, that
Yeah.
means like
You are the
no,
snack.
You are the.
No, if you have snacks, then you aren't the snack.
Well, yeah,
Because you
but
can throw the snack.
yeah, but then they get pissed when you don't have any more snacks.
Well, you have to run while you throw the snack.
There you go.
Yeah, badgers aren't. Yeah, that's definitely not an animal I'm going to go
Yeah,
to.
damn.
Maybe if it's maybe.
Badger and a wolverine. Those are
yeah, Wolverine. Ooh. Those are starting to come around again. They're starting to
Are
see
they?
more Wolverines.
Have
yeah.
not
Really?
seen a Wolverine.
Yeah, they're starting to see more of them again, which is cool.
That's good.
They were gone just about.
Well, I know the wolves have all come back too. You know, actually too much, where they had to start hunting the wolves again.
No.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, Montana and
I'll
places
take
like
'em.
that. Well, the wolf packs. The
I'll take the taxidermy.
wolf packs got big again,
Well, a lot of
especially up in the
A lot
Montana
of them, like
area.
we had the problem with the feral pigs up north.
Oh,
People
yeah.
were, like them farms, they were getting too many. They were getting out, and so they
Yeah.
just started getting out, and so they had to start hunting them. So it was just yeah,
Well,
Sad.
especially the wild pigs and stuff, because those
Yeah.
things breed like rabbits.
yeah, they're mean.
Oh.
Yeah,
And they're mean.
yeah.
Jordan had that pig. Jordan, he bought a pig for the pigs. He bought, it's supposed to be a mini pig from like,
Oh, yeah.
what's the pet store over here?
Uncle Bill's.
Uncle Bill's, yeah.
He wasn't a mini pig.
No, he wasn't a mini.
Yeah.
There are no
He
such
wasn't,
thing
he
as
got
mi-
it.
there are no
Pretty
such
much,
things as
like-
mini pigs.
And anything
dude,
that you buy at Uncle Bill's is probably not what they
that
say.
Yeah,
that thing
exactly.
turned into a. I swear to God, that was a fucking Arkansas Razorback.
Yeah,
Because I mean, it had
Someone just found it on the side of the road.
it got to the point. I mean, the hairs on the back of it were like long and spine. Like
You're
it
like,
was a
"That is
Razorback,
not a
man. It
pig."
was.
and it was not nice.
It was not a cute little like
and-
potbelly pig or something. No,
It was cute at first, and then it was like going to eat Charlie. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, time to get rid of the pig.
Yeah, he tried to eat
Yeah.
me. He tried to eat me. I had to feed him once for a few days while Jordan was out of town, and you basically just had to like you said, have treats, and I had to like throw Oreos because
But that's like
he
wild
kept him in the
animals. You should
kitchen,
not
but he
have to
kept him
deal
in the
with a
kitchen.
pet
He
like
kept him
that.
in the kitchen at first, and you'd have to throw shit across the other side of the kitchen so you
Oh
could
my
get to the
God.
door to open the door to get him outside to poo, and without him eating.
That's
you.
not a pet.
No,
That's a
he
wild
destroyed all the because we had a bunch of cornhole bags too that had actual corn in them. He just fucking destroyed
Oh,
all.
yeah, I'm sure. Like, those are just snack bags.
Eventually, he gave him away to a farm or somewhere.
Where
I
he
think
should be.
Either that, or we had a lot. I mean, he had an odd, weird amount of bacon for
He
a
did
while.
for a little
but-
bit.
Uh-oh.
Some ruining.
All right, sorry, we were getting into our animals again.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Holly's
We've been,
love of
been all over the
wild.
place.
Holly's love of feeding figs to wild animals.
I mean,
That's
can't
just
blame me,
dangerous.
right?
That's just dangerous.
But you know what? If that's how I go, that's how I go.
Yeah.
There's worse ways to
Go
go.
doing.
But that is
stuff
a
you love.
totally avoidable way to go.
But there's worse ways. So I'm
She
fine.
went doing what she loved, feeding wild
I mean,
animals.
I don't think anyone is
Fig
gonna,
Newton's in her hand.
No one's going to be surprised if suddenly
Well,
it's on Facebook that I got eaten by a bear.
Fig Newton's in her hand. Well, in her hand.
Yeah, you know what they do? They eat your face first.
Yeah.
You know what? I have been very close to bears, and I have not had my face eaten. So
That's what they're gonna do first. So you
No. I've never been close to bears.
I
I've
have
been
actually
close to a lot
like
of bears,
several times, and
That
even
sounds like a
babies.
problem. That
I mean,
sounds
I'm
like
still
what are you
here.
doing wrong? What are you doing that?
I think some of them just know when they have
Oh, yeah.
animal people, and they know.
Like
they're-
I'm not a threat.
yeah,
Okay. You look, yeah, tasty.
she's not of the
You're
spotlight.
a snack.
Oh.
All right.
All right, Holly. What do you have? What
do you got coming up?
What do you got coming up?
I've
For everything.
got
For you know
all
when
kinds
you're.
of things.
Yeah.
But the next few things is Viva Las Vegas is a burlesque show that is going to be happening August 5th and 6th at the White Rabbit Cabaret in Fountain Square. And then on August 28th, Black Circle Market.
Oh yeah.
So
I
I'm
did
going
see
to have
this
some
one.
art
Yeah.
and some fun vintage stuff there. And then September 24th is the Rocky Ripple Festival, where I will have my taxidermy and art and all kinds
All
of
right.
things.
When's
So,
that one?
that one's September 24th.
September 24th. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll check that one
Yeah,
out.
so
Yeah, I
all
see
kinds of
some-
fun stuff coming up.
Where's Rocky
yeah.
Ripple? It sounds familiar.
Rocky Ripple.
I don't. Why do I not?
It's like,
It's been happening a lot. I mean, that's happened for years, right?
yeah, it's a big
Is this the first
festival.
time back, or did they kill it for the last couple of years?
I'm not sure, honestly, because I just got back to Indianapolis
Oh,
this year.
Yeah, I don't know if they've had that or not.
But it is something that has been going on for a long time.
Okay.
I just don't know what
Is
the
that in
COVID
Broad
break
Ripple?
was. No,
Or is
it's
where's Rocky Ripple?
I'm trying to think of this. It's. I mean, it's just a neighborhood.
it's
but
like near Fall
okay.
Creek area.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
they have all kinds of art and
Go on. Yeah, oh, I
beer
guess
tents
I'll
and-
use my Google skills.
yeah. I mean, you're hyping your Google skills.
Right,
You
yeah.
can use it.
Yeah, I'll figure it out eventually.
Use it for good once in a while,
Shut up.
not just funny.
Shh, not just looking for burlesque shows. Jeez.
That's also a valid use of Google.
Yes, it is actually. There should be. Is there like a? I don't know. Do they have like a? A burlesque. A site you can go on to find shows and where.
No,
Like
not
a
really.
centralized burlesque.
Because it is for people. I mean.
Yeah, there were like festival sites where you could find festivals and stuff, but not like as far as regular shows. It's kind of just like a city by city thing. Because
Do you think they'd have like a central database, or
who's
something?
gonna run that?
I don't
Exactly.
know. Okay.
Do you think the scene still bigger like in Chicago and Detroit?
Detroit, no.
No.
Detroit kind of has been very similar to Indianapolis as
Really?
far as like after COVID, everything got cut down,
Yeah.
quite a bit. But Chicago has always been,
Yeah.
they have shows every night of the week.
No.
Yeah.
Because of how many tourists they have and things like that. And same with New York and like a lot of places
Yeah,
in California
yeah.
and things like that. But
Yep.
like
Las Vegas.
here, yeah, in Vegas.
Here it's a weekend thing.
Yeah, and it's not even every weekend.
Okay.
But what we have is really good. So
Well, it's still impressive for being in the middle of the Bible Belt and
yeah.
all the fun laws here in Indiana.
We have the unique advantage of having a venue that is specifically for burlesque,
Right.
which I mean, not very many places
Yeah.
have
Who
that.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure some of the places are a little like sketchy comedy clubs, where it's shitty green room in the back, and you're
Or
like you
it's
said, you're
just
changing in a.
Places where there's
Brewery.
just mostly like music. It's like a music venue
Yeah.
and things like that.
It's not
so,
built for what.
Yeah.
Not built for stage productions and the things you guys like to do.
Yeah, and the White
Okay.
Rabbit really is a great spot. They have such a unique vibe and like a great stage, and they have lighting that's good for us, and it's a whole different experience.
Sure.
So,
So how do if you have, going to somewhere new, if you don't know the venue at all, how do you prepare for that? Or do you have to try to do some research before you?
if it's a place that I can easily get to,
Yeah.
I'll usually try to like go to a show prior,
Go check it
check it
out.
out. But if it's like something like I've performed festivals and stuff in other states, usually there's usually some pictures online, and then you can usually connect with other performers that have performed there, and you can kind of ask, like, what is the stage like, or the producers will tell you. So, but it's always good to have kind of a general idea of what you're working with. So,
You know, how big's the stage?
does it have carpet on it?
Do I need to wear?
That is not fun.
Yeah. Do I need to wear shoes?
But I would think that's a valid. I mean,
Well, no, it is. Yeah.
You don't know where you're going. I mean, because
you want to know those things ahead of time. You do not want that to be a surprise.
Yeah. I've done some shows where some band Burlesque and it was like, okay, we're gonna move these tables. We're gonna do it right here.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
Whoa, what?
No.
In my early days, I didn't know to ask a lot of the questions. I kind of assumed what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
And then I got surprised a couple of times. And I think the worst one was a carpeted stage, which is really bad with high heels. And they didn't have monitors on the stage, so we couldn't hear our own music.
No.
And I was like, why did no one think of this?
That's the whole.
They were just playing it through the sound system of the bar, and I was like, I can't hear anything.
No, that doesn't work.
She's not going to this song at all.
I know, it's terrible.
What song is she dancing to? I have no clue.
But, those are all things that you learn, and then it just kind of gets easier the more experience you have, because you start to know to expect certain things and to ask certain questions and prepare for a lot of different scenarios.
Cool. All right. Well, looks like a lot of good fun stuff coming up. Do you have a website? Right, or do you have a website or anything, or just the Etsy store or your
Etsy
Facebook
and
page?
social media is the easiest place to find me. I'm Miss Holly Hock or MS Holly Hock on pretty much all social media. So
there you go. Look her up, and see where she's performing next, or go to the Etsy store, or check out anything else she's got going on.
All.
yeah, all of it.
Right, every bit. She's got 30 things going on. Pick one.
Something for everybody.
No, we will throw some
All
art
right,
up on our
cheers.
page
Yep.
because I like you got some cool stuff. So
Yep. Okay, well then end it.
all right, Holly, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome having
Thanks
you
for
on board.
having me.
Definitely, you're welcome anytime. So yeah, anytime you are around, anytime we got a show going, you're
I'll
always
come
welcome.
drink
and
with you guys
yeah,
anytime.
Sweet.
Hope we'll get some speakeasy shows going here, and you can jump on there.
There you go. Hop over. Yeah, we'll tell you where we're at and come down.
Yeah.
This one, yep,
Be on the show.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Cheers. Right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you guys.
Seldom get on jet planes, don't like fast trains all night. City forgets its name sometimes. I can tell that you care. I can feel the true glare of a lady in love somewhere. Do this, go there, and not allowed to touch my head again, and touch my head again. Don't try, honey, or won't try just to hold me down again, hold me down again. I can tell that you care. I can feel the true glare of a lady in love somewhere. You can tell the time without your clock. It was 4:65 but a parking lot, and I was on my way to you. I was on my way to you. And do this, go there, and not allowed to touch my head again, and touch my head